So right here I have a confluence that the price might not actually return back into that low as I wanted to. So the price will leave this open. So it will not come back into this area. Why? Because we went above it, we went down, but completely balanced this area. So this is efficient, and then we went below and then above. This is balanced, so price doesn't even have to come back into this, neither does. Don't trust anything in here on a 1 minute chart. Didn't mean to do that. I would want to see this low being taken, but that would be conflicting with the premise that we have, that it doesn't go here. So this area is going to be left open. My model implies that I need a sell side liquidity pool being taken before I do anything. I don't think that this can be labeled as, perhaps here, yes. We have SMT here. But my model, fortunately or unfortunately, it implies a sell side liquidity to be taken. And if that doesn't happen, then I don't do absolutely anything. What I'm looking at in a 5 minute chart is an immediate rebalance here. So the next, not the next candle, but the next one, no, the next one after that, I mean in the next 2 to 3 candles, but not the first one. So the first one is the first one after the first one. How can I say that? The first one is the second one. So not this one, the next candle. This one can also be, but I believe that in the next 2 to 3 candles we need to expand higher with speed. And again, this area is going to be left open, if I'm correct, but I cannot take any trade because my model implies a sell side liquidity pool to be taken and a market structure shift from that. But we do not have anything like that here. I know where the price is going to go, but I'm willing to let this go because I don't want to take anything outside my model. So 15128 and 15152.25. So as I told you, we're going to rally. Why? Because that's an immediate rebalance. The S&P and the Dow are just higher. Dollar index is watching a 50-minute chart, daily chart. It is still at the other block opening. 1 hour chart. Another level I'm watching is this fair value gap. I'm gonna put some lines. And what I want this specific candles to do is expand with speed above this high, this fair value gap's high, close above it, perhaps revisit it as support, and then ultimately higher until this point and that point. Even though I know what it is likely to happen with a high degree of probability, I would never ever trade this. Like, this doesn't look anything like I want it to. This literally looks like a euro dollar. Yeah, we can argue that we had the sell side liquidity pool taken. Here market structure shift, perhaps breaker here in which you can, but this right here, this is when I'm on the charts. This is when I'm looking for something. This would have been 5 handles on ES, but I don't care about these arms. I mean, I care about them, they're nice, but this was not my model. So I would just sit on the sidelines, and if we get to that 15108 level and the 15152.25, I mean, that's high probability that's going to go there, and I cannot take anything. I'm going to post this regardless, so you know what you have to do when you do not see your setup, or what I do when I don't see a setup, because I don't know, man, it feels weird to give advice when you're 20. I can give advice in trading. I want to think that way, but if you gain any value from this, by the way, make sure to leave a like and a subscribe. I usually put music on these things, but today I wanted to show you how my thought process is. So as I told you, I would prefer for this to close above that 15108.75, and perhaps return back into that level and use it as support. But let's see how we treat this fair value gap, because that's very important. We can also have this big green candle going straight to our main threshold on a daily chart, that orange line, and also the previous day's highs. So we can even have a big run here without coming back into that level. This proves that you can be right about your direction, but that doesn't mean profitable. I am profitable because I preserved my capital and I did not lose any money. That's profitability. But there is no profit in itself. So this is live markets, by the way. There's no delay. 13:48, and this is the time in my local. This is New York time. Local time, because I'm in Bucharest. Wait, no, this is New York time. Oh, I forgot I changed it. Back. And this is also not a recording, like, I feel like I have to say these things because people don't believe sometimes. They sometimes don't believe. I personally would have preferred it to close above the fair value gap. I'm also looking at the midpoint of this to see whether that offers some kind of support. That's the lower quadrant in which we just tapped into. So the 25 of the fair value gap, that is what we tapped into. I would want it now to take on this high and to not respect the midpoint, because we closed the bodies inside the fair value gap. So we can see a run below, which perhaps will benefit me if we get a stop run. So we're inside this fair value gap. I don't like absolutely anything in this 1 minute chart. We closed above it on a 1 minute. But I would never ever trust, like, let's say we run this low and then we shift bullishly. I would never trust only running this low. Perhaps if we run this, I'm gonna stay on a 5 minute chart. But yeah, I'm not forcing anything. My premise, and by the way, we have a fair value gap here. My premise would have been New York sell side, New York launch sell side, which perhaps would have been this if the price wasn't so strong to the upside like it is. Taken, and then the magic happened. But I do not have that, so I am submitting to missing a move because I've learned the hard way that chasing moves is not it, and it does more damage, not even to your funds, not even to your money capital. It does damage to your mental capital, and that is worth way more than some numbers on a screen, guys. Yeah, we're going for sell side now, I believe, or perhaps just for a discounted array comeback, but price is very strong to the upside. I would now, if we're bullish, if we're that strong, I would now want this high to be taken. If it doesn't, then that creates a swing high and eventually makes price go lower. The swing high in itself doesn't make the price lower, but that is a formation when the price can either enter a reversal or a retracement. Either way, we're going below. So right now I would want to see price above that high, and as we've came back into this fair value gap and into the fair value gap low on a 50-minute chart, then right now I would want to see price higher with speed, leaving a gap here on a 5-minute chart into this mean threshold and ultimately into this previous day's highs, because we had very small ranges. If I take a look at the 1-minute chart, these are not small ranges, but so I believe that if we take on this high, then we can reach up into that 15128 level. I would want the next candle to open, to go a little bit lower and then higher with speed. We can come back and retrade into this, but this candle's high, perhaps it is sensitive, or the consequent encouragement of this wick, of this premium wick here, which is the midpoint. Perhaps we can retreat back into that. I would prefer it, however, right now to spike up above, right? I'm not trying to predict. Come on, STO, don't try to predict. I'm not saying predicting price is bad, but I'm trying to predict every single fluctuation, and you're going to enter back in a vicious cycle, STO, so don't do that. Yes. Dow, dollar index. Took on level of buy side, as I can see. Order block shifted, not here, but shifted perhaps. Order block, sell side, fair value gap, sell side, perhaps if it does want to. But I'm more interested in Nasdaq. If this runs from here, then we just experienced every single point of this fair value gap being utilized as a support. So we got the low, the lower quadrant, the upper quadrant. We don't have the consequent encouragement, but this right here, I believe that it is a future order block. This will be an order block in the future. These two down close candles. This is how I view price. We only came down, I believe, now to the consequent encouragement. not yet. So I believe that these two down close candles are going to be a future order block. So when the next candle opens here, we go below, we go to the consequent encouragement of this wick, then we go higher. Therefore this will turn into a bullish order block, if I'm correct, of course. But I'm not trying to predict every single candle now. I would prefer for this to stay down closed, even though I'm bullish. Here would be the 50%, but I would prefer for this to stay open if we're still bullish. This is a fair value gap, and the only thing that is here is this. So I'm not concerned about the price returning here. If it does, then it does. I was incorrect. But if it doesn't, then I was correct. But it doesn't matter, to be honest with you. So this is our future order block, if I'm correct. So it means that this candle right here should take its high and ultimately higher into this mean threshold. And when we reach that, I'm going to close the charts and I'm going to journal the thing that I saw. I'm going to journal how great I was because I didn't take any trade because my setup wasn't there. And first of all, I'm going to upload this. I'm going to tell you guys I'm going to upload it. I'm going to speed up. You already saw. I speed up the parts in which I don't say anything. I just look at the charts. But yeah, this is an example. Perhaps if it reaches our target, which I don't know still. I mean, I have an assumption, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna be correct. If it reaches my target, then I can show you how you can still be correct and not profitable, as in terms of pure profit. Because as I've learned in the past couple of days and a couple of months, you're profitable if you preserve your capital. You're profitable. And I keep hearing this Lambo outside, this Huracan. Every single night I hear this guy, bro. It's crazy. But yeah. So this level right here is the upper quadrant, which means the 75% from this low to this high. This is the 75%. And this is the lower quadrant. This is the 25%. And the midpoint is named consequent encouragement, which is 50% from this low to this high. Again, this is a 50-minute fair value gap. And I told you guys from here that first of all, I didn't want to see price come back into this. So this stays open. I told you guys we didn't even come back into these highs. I told you guys that this is an immediate rebalance and the next 2 to 3 candles are going to be bullish. I told you that if we close above this, then we're gonna reuse this as support. I told you that we can look at the upper quadrant, the lower quadrant, the consequent encouragement, and the low and the high of the fair value gap to support price higher. I told you guys when we had this retracement that price has perhaps, I don't even know now, until we reach that target, everything can happen. But from this low to this high, there is this order block, but right here we do not have anything to retrace on, and we do not have any reason to retrace in this. So the only thing that we have here is this fair value gap coupled with the inverted fair value gap here. And yeah, so there's no entry for me today. I'm content with it. So this right now, and I also told you guys about this order block. So this right now becomes an order block. In the next candle, if we do not go to this mean threshold in this candle, in the next candle, we're going to open, come a little bit down, and go higher into this with speed, I believe, and we're going to leave a fair value gap here. But as we touch this level, which is 15128.00, I'm going to close the charts and I'm going to post this video and I'm going to do something else. Let's see how we close in this candle. Yeah, the next candle is straight up going to go above this. Again, the guy with the Lambo outside, open, low is going to be formed, I believe, here, or maybe a little bit lower, but here is fine from the fair value gap if it does want to. If it retraces, I will look for the high and the open of this candle, but I would prefer to see strength. I would prefer to see price so strong that we're not even going to that level. So I'm gonna mark this out. We're about 6 points away from the mean threshold, and let me remind you that is a daily level, so the price has a strong magnet to it. And I believe the next candle, this candle, perhaps, if I am correct, this candle is going to be like this. Next candle opens and then goes higher with speed. This is how much? 26 points. I don't know about that, but through this level the next candle is eventually going to take it, or this one too. So again, this is a live chart. This is 27th of June 2023, 2023 to 19. I'm gonna switch these things up so you guys can see. Going to euro so you guys can see. There's nothing here. We can open lower, create the power of 3 on a 5-minute chart. I don't mind this. I would prefer these candles high, even though that's not a PDRA, to not be reached in order to show strength. We have one takeaway. And yeah, so in this tape reading, guys, I've told you that we are going to come. We joined around here, right? Around here. And I saw this big move. And I told you guys I would not want to see this retraded through. I would want to see it open. Not even to this high. We didn't even come into this high. Then I told you guys about this immediate rebalance. I told you guys then that not this candle, but in the next two we're going to see a run higher with speed. If you consider this speed, I would consider it, because this is only green candles. And then right here I told you guys that this is live. I told you guys that if we close above this, then we're going to use this fair value gap as support. We have this here, here, upper quadrant, constant encouragement, lower quadrant, low and high. Right here, guys, I told you about this order block, the quote-unquote future order block, and look at the retracement that we have from this level. Future order block, I told you guys this is going to turn into an order block when this candle was forming. I told you guys that this candle is going to form a fair value gap and then ultimately the high. But I didn't take any trade because this was not my setup. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one, perhaps. Peace.